Hi everyone, welcome back. Another battle took place last week, and the car really bore the brunt of it. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, because boy, I could really use the help at this point because, I'm kind of sick of battling. I'd really rather be racing, but I'm kind of stuck battling. Anyway, we'll gloss over that for now. I could use the income revenue from Google to repair this thing, especially after this week. But I need more people like you to become interested in this and subscribe so that Google can actually do that. So, anyway, we have to get to work on the front end because for the second week in a row, it's destroyed. Now I have help on the way, but this thing's hurt bad. If you saw the last video, we had another incident where I took the front end off the car, and this time it hurt it quite a bit. The whole frame saver is kicked over to the left side. The ducting is all dropped out of it. All of the everything is damaged. So I think where I'm going to start is we got to pull the nose piece off. I'll probably leave the fender alone. I'm probably going to unbolt the fenders from the bumpers on both sides here. And I'm going to take a sledgehammer and I'm going to smash the dented parts of the nose out to try to at least get the nose a little bit straight. I'll probably also take it off the top here because it's torquing it this side. And I'm going to try to get the nose straight so that we can at least maybe repair it. I don't know if we can even repair this thing. We've repaired it 15 times by now because, you know, it's just been through the ringer. And that's kind of the unfortunate part of racing, but it is what it is, essentially. So we got to get it off so that we can see what's underneath it, though. Yep, that's racing, I guess. You know, it's funny, at Thompson I would go years and years and years without any sort of, like this. If my car looked like this, it's because I got involved in a wreck. It wouldn't be from racing. I can't even begin to tell you how many years it's been since I replaced a bumper on my old Thompson car. This one lasted one race. And you can see it's kicked over this way. It pulled the whole frame saver over. I don't think the radiator's hurt at all. You know what? Since we're live, well, not really, but let me see. Just make sure that there's some kind of water in here. Oh yeah, there's water right there. So, never lost pressure. I'll put that on later. It takes two hands. So, yeah, that's great. You know, all that work I put into it, all that work my brother put into it. Now we have to do it all over again and more, because now we're down a frame saver, and the one that we have left needs to be repaired because the right front right here is missing and here is missing. A lot of you who watch my channel are former racers or current racers, and I know that you can understand where I'm coming from here. It's just that I just want to race. So in order for me to race, I have to race against, I don't know, man. I don't know what I should say here because I'm just trying to be nice, but at the same time it's like when I raced at other tracks, this wasn't an issue, but then I go here and now it's an issue. So it's like, I don't know. We'll just, we'll get back on it and see if we can fix it. I'll text my chassis builder, Zach, at MLZ Fab, and see if he can get me an extra frame saver. Maybe I'll just build another one. In the meantime, I guess we'll just keep on plugging away. Bolted right up. You know, it's kind of funny. This system right here, where I use these tubes and heim joints as the front bars for the car, a lot of people will just weld them on, and then if the front end gets wiped off, they'll unbolt it, and then they'll just cut it off and re-weld it. I wanted to test this system out with these tubes because my theory was, if it takes a hard hit at any angle, it will bend the frame saver. These joints will move, and the only damage to the car will be the frame savers. And it looks like that worked, because I took a really hard hit in the front end, enough to cave both of these bumpers, because I got two bumpers, and they're both pushed all the way up, like they're braced. Not in the middle, clearly, which is where the failure point was, which is perfect. Crushed it right in. These bars, they're fine. This pipe, fine. You know, everything's fine. It's just when it hit, it moved exactly like I said it would. It twisted over. I unbolted everything, bolted a new one on. These tubes, all these heims are perfectly fine. So that design actually worked, and I'm very proud of that, because you know, I like to come up with innovative solutions to things, and my dad was an engineer for 30 years, and it kind of rubbed off a little bit, but if I could do the math, I'd be an engineer. I'm not very good at math. So I'm really glad that that worked. Might have to text my chassis builder about that one. Okay, everything seems to be trimmed up. I even pounded the fender back into place. We got to figure out a way to get the body back in shape. She's a little twisted. It's not good, but I got this cut off here. We're going to figure out a distance to this at some point. I did measure for this side from the frame rail to the end of the pipe is like 17.5 inches. And it looks like it clears the tire a lot. And I do want to get the tires a little bit more room with the bumper so that they are a little more safe. So I'm going to get the pipe bender out, which is back there. Grab me a stick. I had a sleeve here already. I cut it, so there's already going to be a sleeve here. I'll slide it over this, and we'll get it kind of eyeballed up good. Measure the heights, make sure it's level, make sure it's wide enough, and we'll get her going. She's beefed up pretty well. Yeah, that's a lot of beef there. I probably could have made the bumper a little longer, but you know what? It'll be fine. There's a bolt hole already made for it. It's all set to go. This needed a little more bracing, and I just made sure that it wouldn't kink down as easily. It's probably still gonna, but it's okay. I put another round here to make sure, well, not make sure, but at least attempt to stop the right front from caving in as much. I think I might do the same over here because this one did kick in at one point. So I might put one off of there just because. You never know. Then we got to hammer the fender out, figure out a nose, get the ducting back in, redo every single thing that we just did last week. So my brother brought me some lunch, which is pretty rad. Had me a nice roast beef grinder, sub or sandwich if you're not from New England. Speak of the devil, who shall appear.
Hello.
Jesse's garage is here. I moved your drink out of the cup holder so we wouldn't lose it out of there.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I'm just wiping up the chicken goo.
Lettuce.
Yeah, lettuce, stuff like that. So we got to put hood pins on her. I figured out this one from the other one will fit just fine. I might have to take a little edge off. This one's bent. Those three line up. This one, I don't know where the hell it went. Oh, it's like way over here. So we're going to have to hammer that back straight. I was going to take that to the trash, but I started filming.
Oh, off the front rim.
Close. So we're fitting, we're moving, shaping, trying to figure out what to do here with the front. I was still thinking about putting that upright in the front. What do you think? Should I do what I did to this front corner here on this corner and add a little brace out here so that doesn't kick back so easily?
Yep.
All right.
Just at least a little one. Yeah.
So we'll probably add that brace while I got the welder out, and we got to add that hood pin and keep going. So I think it's time to talk about a nose, because this thing is pretty hammered. It's almost, I think this is permanently dented in. This has been ripped out twice. This has been ripped out twice.
It's saying right now. It's saying right now, boss, I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
It's ripped
boss.
here. It's ripped here.
Just let me go.
Well,
me go.
Let's go take a look at the inventory and see what we got. In the pile of, I don't know what kind of creature was over there, but something just took off. Whatever, as long as it ain't a bear.
Don't bite me.
Yeah. Here's the histories of my race team.
It's not that bad.
There's 3 tail pieces.
Why don't we just put headlights on the tailpiece?
There's 4 tail pieces. We got this one.
Probably no go.
Really? It's not that bad. It almost looks better than what we got.
Well, I'm thinking the sides. You know, where the sides bolt up.
It's split here, but that's not a terrible fix.
No. Well, it's not terrible, but I mean...
I don't think I have any other black noses, though.
No.
I think they're all white.
There's nothing wrong with white. Sometimes white is all right. What's this one? I have a perfect black one.
That one's just as hammered as the one I got. And it's got holes in it that we'd have to cover because Stafford doesn't allow brake ducts.
Lame.
I need a dumpster. I gotta get rid of all this stuff.
Another terrible.
Yeah. That one's got an 81 written on it. So I've definitely raced that one at Stafford at one point. It's hammered down the side as well.
Well, let's check what the old Phil knows.
I got a Phil nose still hanging around. It's not terrible.
I take it back with maybe
a little
with
bit
the
of heat gun.
A heat gun, you can straighten these out. A little bit.
Yeah. This will come straight. That's not a huge deal.
Block these off, of course.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We'll try it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Well, game plan is here. Jesse's going to try to fix the current nose. I'm on fabrication. We're going to try to get this hood pin from here back to here and one added in to here. So I'm going to stick this up in like this. See how these fit here? These are already in place. They're already all set. I'm going to put this up to it, and I can see that it is a little off. So I'm going to cut basically the amount of weld that's on here. It's about 1/8 to 1/4 inch. Knock that off. Put it back up here like this. See how kind of you can angle it in, but you don't want it angled. You want it straight. So, wait. Okay, so this side's actually too short. All right, I didn't want to like reinvent the wheel here, but I'm gonna cut that down until it fits. Let that thing set. Once we get all the holes lined back up, We'll take it, weld it, and hopefully we can get the body back on soon. She's already looking better. Used, but better. Hood's fitting perfectly again. Nose is back on. Ducting is all in. She ain't as purty, but you know what? I would say a lot of that's not our fault, but that's racing, so. It's amazing what one afternoon with good help will do. I forgot to mention to this, today's my anniversary, and I've spent the entire day in the garage. So before I'm murdered, I'm going to leave, get cleaned up, and spend time with my wife like I'm supposed to. So I will see you guys tomorrow or the next day. Whichever comes first, I'll be out here. Okay guys, it's a couple days later. I have been to the auto parts store, and I have come up with this, which will fall out of the box at any second now because it is cheap. Well, at least the box is cheap. It's the only one I could find around here. And Rock Auto wouldn't have gotten it to me by Friday, which that's surprising. So it's an idler arm. And I'll show you exactly what happened because it's the exact same thing that happened to my old one, which is why I put this one on, then got hit in the right front again a couple weeks ago. So let me set this up and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so what happened last time, and I know I tried to show you this before, but you could see the idler arm, you actually can't see clearly because it's down here and I can't get a good angle on it because I wanted you to be stationary so you could see how much the tire actually moves when there's a force applied to it. So what happens is when these idler arms get bad, and I've narrowed it down to that again because nothing else seems to be bent and everything else seems to be okay. What happens is, and I'll lean on this tire. Let me see if I can get the correct amount of movement here. There it is. See how much movement I get out of it? That is not with the left side moving. That is just this tire. That thing, the bearing, kind of got slack in it because it got hit and damaged. So it's moving and rocking back and forth. And on this tie rod, it can move back and forth like this on that bearing. Steering arm, pitman arm, I guess you'd call those. That thing is okay. I might throw a wrench on it to make sure that's tight because of vibration and impact, just to make sure. They have a huge lock nut on, or lock washer on them. But I do want to do this, replace that old one again, and maybe tighten up the steering a little bit. Might go through the bearing down in this hub and just make sure she's tight. Make sure I just greased them. I gotta actually go through my checklists because you remember I take and I write everything over here, like when I put new wheel bearings in it, when I change the oil, how many races I have on valve springs. So I'm gonna keep going with my hash marks. I forgot to do that later as well. So we had to add that to the list as well, but we also have to go through and make a couple more adjustments. We tried a different spring in the right front to see if it would help. Didn't really seem to help, so I might go back to the old one just because. We also need to take a little height out of the right front, add some to the left front. So just to make it a little bit better, since I'm going to be in there, I might as well do that. Then I also have a weird issue with the brake line bulkhead. I thought this thing would be out of the way enough for the tire to not hit it, and I turned the hose away. But if you see right here, this is rubber. This tire hit this brake line. Look at this. That's rubber. Luckily, it only caught the very lip where the rubber kind of peels off right here. But it bent the bulkhead down like this. Like it definitely pulled on it. So that's a problem. This thing probably needs to come apart, get cut and moved forward somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. so that we can get it at least a little further out of the way and we don't pull the brake line off if I get bad sideways again. Now, the perfect solution to that would be just not get run into by other people, but that's impossible in racing, especially at Stafford. So, I don't know. I'm trying out here, guys. So, there's a bunch of stuff to do. And for how many weeks in a row now, the front end's getting torn apart. So, here we go. Well, we found a problem. Slowed me down a little bit. I had to pull the hub off, bring it over to the parts washer, which is now my AC fans stand, I suppose. The seal popped off the back of the hub. So there was bearing grease all inside the hub, and I wanted to make sure I cleaned that out of the rotor if any had gotten in there. And I'm going to take a look at the brake caliper after this, but that kind of slowed me down a ton. Made my spring change. I got to get the idler arm put on still, which requires a hammer and a pickle fork and a new cotter pin and different wrenches than the ones I have. So this is kind of a slow process, but I mean, what are you going to do? So I was busy going through the brake line area. We did get that bulkhead moved. We moved it from there to there. Hopefully that's further away from the inboard part of the tire. But I did find this. Let me put this up against something solid here. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but this is the fitting that I took out of the caliper. I don't know if you can see this or not, but when I turn it, you notice it's a little bit crooked. It was loose when I put a wrench on it. How it wasn't leaking was beyond me, but that thing is bent. Like, the NPT fittings here are bent. I can visibly see them. So I put a new fitting in. I kind of ran a quick bleed on the brakes. Geez, that's surprising, man. I didn't know that happened, but I had pedals still, but who knows if that would have become an issue in the future. So I had one just kind of sitting around, replaced it. It's all good. I had spares. I think I'd ordered too many or something, but that's all got to go back together at some point. I do want to do a regular brake bleed with my brother. I got the can out, and I was just kind of holding it above the caliper with some in the bottle, and I don't like doing that. It works, but like to really get a good pedal, you need two people, and you got to do the down, up, yell at each other method. So it's usually the best way. A vacuum bleeder doesn't work. This is okay, but the right way is with two people. I am looking at the list. I made a bunch of progress today, so I'm going to take a break. It's only Tuesday. I still got a couple more days to get this thing ready. Probably take all day Thursday to scale it. Actually all day after work, because now I work Thursdays when I didn't before. But I also want to do a little bit of psychological warfare. Now, when you're racing, you got to try to get into people's heads. And I got the perfect way. And it's not even anything really out there. It's just going to be a sticker. And I think the best way to mess with people is going to be to do this. There we go. Someone sent me a nitrous outlet sticker. I was thinking about putting it right here so that people can see it. I don't know. Playing games is fun. Doesn't have to be true. Just got to play games. Any way to get into people's heads and get them off their game. But no one will believe me, so it's all right. Anyway, I think I'm going to clean up my tools for now, get out of here, and do some housework so that I'm not out here all day in the sweltering heat, because again, we're having our probably final summer heat wave. It's August and we're back in the 90s again, and air conditioning really doesn't work. I'm really this close. I really am to buying just a regular one and stuffing it in here, because that one's really kind of giving up the ghost. It's probably 20 something years old and I've used the last bits of it up. Either way, the list is short. short enough to not worry about it today. We'll worry about it tomorrow. Different day, same shirt, but you'll know why in a second if you look at my face. I was outside mowing what's left of my grass that's actually still growing because we haven't gotten rain in like 3 weeks. Now that I say that, we'll get it for a week. So anyway, since we all know that I am incredibly powerful being, everything I say just ends up happening. That will, because I foreshadow a lot without knowing it. Anyway, today we're working on ducting and getting the fenders, is what I tried to say, bolted back up to the bumper. I do that so that the fenders don't rip off. If you hit the bumper hard enough, yeah, they do move, but I've only had to drop out of a race one time in the last how many years because of that, but whatever. At any rate, I gotta finish the ducting, bolt the fenders, probably bleed brakes. I gotta do that real quick because I did have to move that one, and at least the bulkhead, and I had to disconnect a bunch of stuff. I tried to just run some fluid through it with a gravity bleeder, but who knows how good those actually are. So I gotta get back going. Thank God the air conditioner's working at this moment, and I don't have to spend another $500 on one that I just spent $500 on. So I'm gonna start nutting and bolting, putting some drill bits to metal, and see what we can do to get this thing ready. Ducting looks pretty good. I don't see too many holes in there. I might throw a couple more zip ties in at the bottom just to kind of tighten it up. Any little holes or gaps is where air does not come through your radiator. And if you don't have a duct, well, that's probably why you're not getting airflow. For you dirt guys, I know you don't really do any of this, so disregard that. So this car has to be done by tomorrow night. No ifs, ands, or buts, and has to be loaded in the trailer. Everything has to be loaded. Since I took a new assignment at work, now I have to be there basically longer than I was before, so I don't have enough time to kind of come out here and finish anything up on Fridays. It has to be ready Thursday. No questions. Just has to be done. So this car, for what it is, might just stay like this. Any sort of changes we might make are gonna have to happen tomorrow if we make them, but we're still undecided at this moment. I might hop on iRacing and go test some out, just on theory. Who knows if they'll actually work or not. These cars are a lot different than what you see in books, magazines, or even in real life sometimes because of just how they're made up. So I think I'll call it for today though, because I'm tired. And I'll come back tomorrow. We'll get her on scales. And I've already pretty much gone through it. It doesn't need an oil change. It's got water. The ducting's fixed. The brakes look good. The pedal feels all right. And it runs fine. Oh, and I did go through that wheel bearing in the right front. So, I mean, at least I went through more. I'll probably throw a grease gun at it, but other than that, it's probably just going to go on scales. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, back in the shop today. I'm looking down the side of the body, and I'm seeing the front fender is kind of got a weird curve to it, like it's flared out. I'm going to try to fix that and make it a little flatter. But at the same time, I got to get this thing on scales. I'm not focusing on really anything else. I might throw a grease gun to the U-joints and the front suspension. Actually, I do have a couple of items in the ducting that I need to just kind of shore up a little bit, and a recent trip to Harbor Freight has made that possible. So, with fresh zip ties, I'm going to get underneath there and zip those up real quick, make a final little check of everything that possibly go wrong up front there. Never can catch everything, but you got to try. And like I said, throw a grease gun to it, put it on scales, and shove it in the box. I am not interested in working on this thing right now because the heat sucks. I'm tired of being outside. I'm tired of the summer. I'm ready for it to be over. I live in New England where it's supposed to be cooler. It's not. I chose to be cooler, and it's not cooler. That's why I have a reason to complain. So as every fan in my garage drowns me out, I'm going to get to work and try massaging this thing back into shape and getting it ready. Apologies for the jack handle being in the way, but you can see it's like curved out a little bit. It's kind of weird. I think we used a little too big a hammer when we straightened it back out, because it's supposed to be a little flatter, but now it's catching the air, so whatever. I'll get it fixed. You know, our luck has to change sometime. You can't go through the entire season where you get one decent race and that's it. You know, we have 20 races and it's like you get one decent one and you end up winning the thing. It just seems like every race we're out there and we're busting our butts and we're doing our best and we're trying to keep our nose clean and we're trying to just stay out of trouble. And every single time we move forward, there's a caution and we get stuck on the outside. I'm over it. I'm really tired of it. The fact that that's the reason why we aren't doing well this year sucks, because it's not something we can handle. You know, that's not we can't control that. And it seems like every single week that happens. And what am I supposed to do? Wreck the car below me in order to get in line so it doesn't ruin my race? It almost seems like that. But either way, our luck has to change sometime. And it better do it soon, because I'm pretty tired of it. Standing in front of my fan, in front of my dying air conditioner with the ventilation fan on that you can't see through my pipes after loading the car and tools and everything, because it's so humid outside. I left the air on when the door was open. I'm literally dying at this very moment because of the dust that I've created, because instead of sweeping, I decided to use my air blower, this little electric leaf blower here, and clean out my trailer. And then I'm like, oh, I'm blowing that straight into the garage. So I blew out the garage back into the trailer because I forgot to shut the door. So I had to go blow the trailer out again. Then it blew back into the garage. So I went and shut the trailer door. Then I blew the garage out. It hasn't been a great night. It hasn't been a late night though. So I got that going for me. We made a little bit of an adjustment to the right front spring. I didn't make any height adjustments. I just kind of left it in there willy-nilly. And every adjustment fell into place. As soon as I set the bar and I set all the air pressures and everything, all the numbers were exactly what I wanted to try. So I'm like, okay. So I loaded the car up. And I think it's a little before 8 p.m. Which means I still have time to go and charge my cameras and get my stuff ready to go, because since I started my new assignment at work, I don't know how much time I'm gonna have. It's kind of in the air now. It used to be kind of a foregone conclusion that I'd make it on time. Now I don't know. So I'm gonna have everything ready so that when I get home from work, I can basically say hi to the family, grab my stuff, and dive in the truck and take off again. So that kind of stinks. Also, tomorrow is August 15th. And if you saw my win video, which I don't do enough of these, but I think I'll put it up here somewheres. You should see it if you haven't seen it. More people watched me crash than watched me win, so I question your guys' motives, to be honest with you, but I digress. Tomorrow is August 15th. That is now 7 years to the day that my father passed away. I won on Father's Day weekend. Wouldn't mind doing it again. So let's go do our best. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Yet another week, yet another, well, seemingly beautiful day. It's gonna be hot. I'm kind of over the heat, like I'd mentioned before. But we're pulling up. I guarantee you I'm gonna lose my spot in the pits, which I like my spot because there's tour type modifieds here tonight. And that's really gonna irritate me because I leave right after my feature, and my parking spot is one of the only in the entire facility that I can just turn it around and leave, but I guarantee that won't happen. So I'll have to have my brother help me with that, but we're here. into the bumps. Sweet gravy. All right, guys, practice report before I gotta go run over for driver's meeting. Car wasn't too reactive in the first round. I'm just grabbing a water, by the way. I just really need to grab something real quick so I can go over there. But car wasn't too reactive, but I had a new right rear on it. Didn't feel very stable either, so we talked it over and we made a couple of adjustments and went out for the second one, and we weren't that much faster on time, but it felt a lot better. So we didn't really get a clean lap in either. So we're gonna try, we don't have heat races today. We're starting 9th. Gonna try to stay to the bottom, stay in line, basically. Hopefully the luck comes our way.
In the field, and there's the car getting out of shape. When it does, he corrects, it goes over, and it literally lands back on its wheels. He fires it back up, and I think he wants to continue and be a part of this event. Garrett Pease was,
and he drives away.
Yes, that is crazy. And the fans love it here at Stafford. They are applauding. Garrett Pease was
boy, I am back at the shop and early enough that I could get the car and tools unloaded and not be tired. It's like 9 o'clock at night. This is pretty great. I can go take a shower and relax and then go to bed and work tomorrow immediately. So that's great. Anyway, got a lot of work to do yet again. At least we don't have to do any fabrication this week. We didn't knock the clip off of it. We didn't knock a bumper out of it. We didn't knock the body off of it. We didn't do all of these other ridiculous things that have been happening to me lately. And, you know, I really wish I could race against some people who just can try to race you without running into you. You know what I mean? Like, there's specific people that you get around them and, man, they're just a magnet. And I just can't stand that. I honestly am just over that. So at least this week it'll be a bottle of WD-40, a rag, and a hammer, and a dolly to get the thing to clear up. So that's not too bad. Plus the normal maintenance. But we got some work to do. And if there was ever a situation where I was disappointed with a top 5, yeah, this is it. You saw us. We were up to second. And of course, just like always, just like usual, every single time, the damn caution comes out when I'm in an odd number spot. It happened 3 times this week. I started on the bottom, and then every single caution, outside, outside, outside. We were fortunate enough to fight and claw and dig and scratch and beg our way forward, but we kept having to restart on the outside. And every single time, on the outside. It's just, our luck is so irritating. Like, we have clearly got a car that can move forward. Last week, we came from 18th to 5th in the last half of the race, organically, with no cautions. This week, we started 9th. We were up to 2nd by halfway. I don't know if we could have caught the leader. Depends on if his car fell off at the end of the race, I think, but who knows? I don't know if we were catching him. We were pretty equal. Then the caution comes out, and I go straight backwards. Through no fault of anybody else. I remember, you know, we could race at Thompson. I love Thompson. That's the reason the only reason I came to Stafford was because they changed the rules at Thompson, and I don't like them. If they were still the same, I never would have left. Never. I never would have left. And for good reason, because if I'm stuck on the top at Thompson, I can actually race out there. I've made up spots. I've passed people on the outside. No problem. Sometimes I prefer being up at the top there. I can make it work on the bottom, but that's a 2-groove racetrack more than this place ever was. So it's just woefully frustrating to have the luck that we have. Like, we're good enough to compete, and we don't. We have to fight every single week against fate itself and luck in order to finish where we do. Anyway, our luck has to change soon, or else that break I'm thinking about taking might be a little longer. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate every single one of you who comments, who shares, who catches up with me at the racetrack, who just sends me a DM, anybody, just any one of you. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Tell your friends, family, anybody who you think might enjoy this sort of frustration. And I think we're done for this week. I am going to just make my list and get out of here and go take a nice hot shower. Or a cold one, because I was roasting to death. So thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And until next time.